Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk About Meh, where I natter utter rubbish and you sit and listen. So, busy. Notes are on the wrong page. Good start. So, today we're going to talk about WrestleMania 41. So, before going into this, I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory. So I've been an on and off wrestling fan majority of my life. Obviously, I perform as a professional wrestler, but as far as watching it, I've been intermittent. I'm in for a few years, I'm out for a few years, and I was pretty much out with WWE for a good few years because of the Saudi stuff, which is still do the Saudi stuff, which is a bit icky in my opinion. But just a lot of the personal preference stuff as well. Like I thought the product was really bad. I didn't like Vinnie Mac's behavior, which then I was quite justified in my opinions when all the malarkey happened. But the fact that he was that Vinnie Mac has nothing to do with the company now, really eases my conscience about watching it. And since Triple H took over, or Paul Vic took over, it's been a lot better. But I wasn't watching it, and then last year, leading up to WrestleMania 40, there was a lot of buzz. People were talking about the Bloodline storylines. They were talking about how WrestleMania is going to be amazing. Cody's going to finish the story, and just everyone was at me going, Dave, you need to watch WrestleMania this year. You need to watch WrestleMania. And I was like, don't know what I'm missing. So I watched it, and WrestleMania 40 was amazing. It was entertaining. It was exciting. The entrances were crazy. It was bombastic. The two main events on both nights were phenomenal and pulled me right back into wrestling. We fast forward. I've enjoyed the majority of the year of WWE. I've enjoyed NXT way more. NXT, in my opinion, as far as wrestling wise goes, is doing way better. I think it's because they're hungrier, and there just seems to be a better vibe with it. But anyway, we're not talking about NXT, we're talking about WrestleMania. So the whole year I really enjoyed, and then we got to Elimination Chamber, where they did a big twist at the end, and The Rock came down, and again I reiterate this, The Rock looked at John Cena and did this malake, and John Cena turned heel. Proper heel for the first time on WWE television, full heel. Amazing. I was so excited for heel John Cena. I was so excited for the fact that it looked like The Rock had corrupted John Cena, because The Rock whopped Cody away his belt again. And for some strange reason, Travis Scott was there. Travis Scott, to my knowledge, is a musician, rapper, who I will just point out right now, I am not a fan of his music. Wow. I could be sounding like an old man here, but I think it is utter bull. It is rubbish. If you like Travis Scott, that's fine. That's your opinion. This is just my opinion. I'm not yucking your yum, but it's not for me. And as I go forward, talking about WrestleMania 41, again, just reiterate, it's my opinion. You have your opinion. It'll probably differ from mine, but that's the joys of being able to sit and talk with other people about it and go, I like this, I didn't like that. So yeah, that was the big storyline going into WrestleMania. Was The Rock looked like The Rock corrupted John Cena because Cody wouldn't be Rock's champion. They turned on him, whooped his ass, right? And then Rock was nowhere to be seen for a month. And there's the context, right? We'll come back to that. I'm going to try and not ramble too much in this video because it's 2 nights. And I think it was across 14 matches. So I'm not going to be going through every match verbatim. But anyway, so let's get stuck in. WrestleMania 41. night one, which, by the way, Corbin, my son, has never sat and watched WrestleMania live, and he really, really wanted to do it this year. Really wanted to do it. So I was like, okay, it's during your school holidays, let's go for it. So I watched. Excuse me. It's ironic that I'm yawning when I'm about to talk this. So yeah, he wanted to watch it live. We watched both nights live, 12 till 4 in the morning. I've got wild insomnia and I struggle to sleep. So for me, it was 12 till 6 a.m. With attempted forced naps of myself at 8 o'clock every night for about an hour to 2 hours so I could do it. And oh man, by the time that weekend was over, I felt hungover, and I don't even drink. I don't drink alcohol, and I was rough. I'm still, as of recording this, it is the Thursday after WrestleMania, and I am still trying to get myself together. Oh my lord, I'm only coming 38, and yeah, I couldn't imagine going out in the lash and partying, and now those days are gone, man. Those days are gone. Can't handle it. Can't hack it. So Corbin wanted to watch it live, and we did. And his mum made a Easter snack bucket. We called it the WrestleMania snack bucket, but it was in like an Easter bucket, and it was all these snacks for the 2 nights. And he was so excited. So it was really cool doing that one as well. I really enjoyed the experience of sitting watching WrestleMania with my son, because I can tell you now, when I was younger and I was like, oh, watching WrestleMania on Channel 4, WrestleMania 15 on Channel 4, I would never, ever have thought that I was going to sit with like my best buddy in the whole world and watch WrestleMania with my 8-year-old son. Just did not see that in the cards for me. But yeah, his mum made him a lovely snack bucket and he was over the moon. So yeah, let's get stuck in then. WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. Excited because it was in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is all about the bombastic. And night one, and it begins, and I was immediately, to begin with, blown away by the staging. WrestleMania usually has large staging, and it's always themed around where they are, and it's usually very, very impressive. And this year it was like very vertical, where it was the screen, or the Titantron they used to call it, the screen with all like the videos and lighting and graphics. It was a giant building, like a giant deluxe hotel / casino building. And the thing that was really cool was it had a balcony where people were in it. It was obviously like special VIP and some of the journalists in that, because there was cameras up there, but they're all looking down as they come out. I mean, to be honest with you, it's probably entrance wise a crap view, because all you're seeing is the top of their heads and the back of them as they're walking away from you. But I mean, the view you must have got of the ring far down the ramp was awesome. And it looked impressive on camera. The entrance point was like a hotel foyer. So the doors would open and they come out and they were boxed in. That was really cool to begin with, but I'll come back to that. Because it begins to start having an effect on the show. So match one was Gunther versus Jey Uso, or Gunther, the Ring General, against Jey Uso. A lot of people didn't like that Jey Uso won the Rumble and was getting a title shot. I thought it was cool. I think Jey Uso, it's valid because his merch is selling. The yay is over. My son's mad on yay. I do personally think that Jey Uso's work ethic / ability goes up and down a bit. Like, you don't know what you're going to get. Yeah, fair enough. He had the night where he jumped over the top rope and botched it a wee bit, and everyone was like, Jey Uso's botching. My answer to that would be, let's see you jump over the top rope. Let's see you do it. Because I think wrestling fans tend to forget that. The majority of wrestling fans are not wrestlers themselves. I can't do it. I've been wrestling for 13 years. I mean, I can go through the middle happily. I can front flip out the middle, but there ain't no way I can jump over the top rope to the outside. Ain't happening. Fair enough, he didn't clear the apron, but I wouldn't clear the top rope. So, power to him. But what I love about it was they made a storyline out of the whole he messed that up, because then on purpose the week after they made him trip when he's doing a spear, and they did this amazing angle that Gunther was in Jay's head, and Jay didn't believe he could beat him. To the point where Jimmy on Raw had a match for him, and that was ridiculous. Gunther bust him open and covered in blood and everything. That really made the whole right. You want Jay to get revenge on Gunther because he did that to his brother Jimmy. My issue with that is that was so brutal looking. The blood, the mangling, that leading into WrestleMania, which is the bigger match, it's the bigger moment. It was a little. I think it detracted from it. I think the pure violence of that match took away from this match. But I liked the match. I did not hate it at all. It was a bit slow to start Mania, but it was a good opener. I do think the story has been lost on a lot of people, because as the match went on, I really loved the fact that Gunther was in Jay's head, and then as it went on and Jay was like losing, he started using Gunther's moves on him, which was then getting in Gunther's head. And yeah, I mean, I personally, I felt it was obvious that Jay was going to win. You can't not put a title on Jay because he's so popular, because it was opener of WrestleMania. You don't want to start it with the heel winning. But it was a good match. It was more basic than I thought it would be, but I appreciated the fact that it was just a nice, simple, good storytelling match. And the fact that Jay won it starts the big celebration off straight away. Corbin was over the moon, so I mean, he's kind of like the obvious gauge, an easy gauge to make on it. It's like, well, if he's loving it and shouting and screaming, then it's job done. It's kind of like, I think Corbin's innocence in watching something. It's either he's going to like it or not like it. He doesn't have the whole wrestling thing of his opinions of like, it should be it should be it. He's just absorbing the product as is, what's presented to him, and that's what they wanted. Was Jay to win. Big happy start. Second match of the night, War Raiders versus the New Day. I had absolutely no interest in this match, and neither did my son. And it's not because I don't like New Day and I don't like War Raiders. It's just I am not invested in it at all. They should not, even though it was a tag team title match, that shouldn't have been on the card. There was a multitude of other things that could have been on that. Chelsea Green with the US title, I think, would have been more entertaining than what this was. It was a shoehorned in 2-week feud build up. 2 weeks ago, New Day started on the War Raiders, although it was fair enough, a bit back and forth after a while, but it was basically a big start up 2 weeks ago. I remember New Day feuding with the LWO more than the War Raiders. I think that would have been better. The other bit was, I get that it was actually corporate icky because there was more matches that had sponsors, and I know at the PLEs recently, every like maybe 1 or 2 matches is sponsored by something. Every match at Mania was sponsored by something. And it was worse than what we saw in the UK broadcast, because the majority of it, some of the stuff was not shown, it was cut out. Like, like men's ass wipes for toilets, dude wipes was a sponsor. Mobile games, video games, freaking cereal, food. It was really icky. Like, I know people complained about there being sponsorships in the ring. I don't mind that. Boxing does that. A lot of sports has that. But to start having the matches sponsored and themed with it, with the logos plastered everywhere on the friggin' barricade screens, and even worse. So the New Day came out, and I think it was Clash of Clans, the mobile game, the pile of shite. They came out with like, I don't know what they're supposed to be. It was almost like leaked, like leechings. I can't remember how you pronounce that. The fantasy thing, and almost like white fur, demon like purple stuff. That was cool, and it worked, and it still actually fit in with the New Day aesthetic. The War Raiders came out, who are supposed to be big, hairy, mean, friggin' Viking hunter dudes, and they had the worst costumes ever. They were made to look like the Clash of Clans barbarians. and the armor was fashioned in the exact same way of the blocky style, the cartoony blocky style that's in the mobile game, and they looked fucking stupid. They really did. Oh man, it was cringy bad. I love stupid stuff in wrestling. I'm not that kind of guy. Like, I don't mind comedy stuff. And for people that know me personally, they'll know I don't take myself seriously when I'm performing in wrestling at all. But that was bad. It was icky. It made them look stupid, and it just put it off on a bad foot straight away. I also I loved War Machine when they were on the Indies years ago. I didn't mind them in NXT. I kind of think now that they've slowed down a lot from what they were. They've had a lot of bad injuries. I'm just not a big fan. I can't get behind the War Raiders. I don't mind heel New Day. I prefer funny, goofy New Day, but I actually think in the ring they're more aggressive. But the whole match itself, man, just it was a non-match for me. I kind of really struggled to stay with it, which was a shame because it was only the second match in, and I was already like, this is not good. But that costume's actually, believe it or not, visually just ruined it for me. And I actually think both their entrances were really flat. There was no bombasticness to it. There was no big display. So yeah. Third match of the night was Naomi versus Jade Cargill. I am here for heel Naomi. I love heel Naomi's new look. I love her music. My biggest complaint I've had with Naomi since she came back to WWE is, although her matches were never bad, she always kind of looked to me like she had low energy. Like she just was doing the moves. This time when she came out, it was completely different. I think Naomi's been wanting to do this for a while. I think she was bored of the whole glow thing. I think she was bored of the dancing stuff because she came out and there was no dancing. It was like she came out to a metal theme, which was so jarring. I love the new look. I love the makeup. I love the razor blade stuff. It had like razor blade designed in her hair, if I remember. Yeah, really cool. Really cool. Um, then it went to Jade Cargill's entrance, and I was like, "Oh, here we go. We're gonna get something cool because it's Jade Cargill," and they roll out the red carpet for Jade. And then there was this really bad green screen weather report. Didn't like that. Didn't like that. I think if I had not had the god awful War Raiders costume prior, I wouldn't have felt that the cheesy green screen weatherman thing. I'm assuming that is a dude that's on the US Weather Channel because I know that's a thing over there. But for us folk over here, I didn't know who he was, and I thought it was badly acted and it looked terrible. Jade Cargill came in, awesome costume, awesome entrance with the lighting and stuff. I thought she could have got a bit more WrestleMania style entrance with something. It was just lightning flashes and her usual. I think she had the snow stuff. I think like the snowflakes, but her costumes are always like amazing, and they obviously know where the money is because it always like shows off her. She's got an insane physique, insane. Like she almost looks like a robot, like her. But it was like the storm based things, the lightning and that. The match itself, it wasn't bad. Jay Cargill's a lot better from when I used to when I did watch AEW years ago, and she was kind of thrown into it. She wasn't by any means terrible in this at all, but there still is a bit of refinement needed. There still looks a little. She stands out a bit from the other people's work. There was a couple of good spots. I was adamant she was getting her finisher off the top rope, and they turned it into a top rope wheelbarrow bulldog by Naomi. It was okay. It wasn't an amazing match. I didn't think it was up to WrestleMania kind of standard. And considering Naomi was supposed to have put Jade Cargill out of action by attacking her, and then Jade Cargill came back, battered her at Elimination Chamber. It was a big reveal that Naomi had attacked her because she was jealous of her and wanted to be tagged. I didn't think the match had grudge match feel to it at all. Jade basically walloped Naomi for the majority of that match, and I personally feel that Naomi should have won, and that the program could have gone a bit longer. I think Jade should have chased Naomi. I think the wrong choice was made there because again the match ended and I felt a bit flat. So going forward, that's 2 matches at the start of night 1 in the first half of night 1, and I'm like, this is a bit worrying. And then we go into the next match, which was the US title match. It's LA Knight, against Jacob Fatu. I love Jacob Fatu. He is a monster. He's an absolute monster. He's so athletic, so vicious, so fast, so clean, so powerful. I'm all in on Jacob Fatu. All in. And the less of the bloodline stuff, the better. Because he doesn't need it. He does not need it. He doesn't need to be the attack dog of a group. He is on his own, entertaining, interesting, and he's got the work that carries it. I was enjoying LA Knight. I've kind of cooled off on him a wee bit. I think the only thing that lessened this match a little had nothing to do with the two performers. It was the long-term storytelling. The fact that LA Knight had to drop the US title to Shinsuke Nakamura only because Nakamura was getting the match in Japan, so he could go over there with the US title. It makes him, I get it. It was a good thing to do. But the feud with Nakamura did not work. It was flat, and I didn't like. Again, Nakamura's repackage was just. I don't mind the creepy samurai thing. My issue is that Nakamura is captivating when he's being Nakamura, when it's full on old, the old like King of Strong style. His own personality, the rock and roll vibe, the weirdness to him, the unpredictability of him. That's Nakamura. By making him creepy Japanese Undertaker, it took everything away. It took all his personality out of him completely. And I don't understand why, but just Nakamura cannot seem to get a good run going on the main roster. NXT, he was amazing because they just let him be Nakamura. And I can never understand why you hire someone from another company and then don't let them be what you saw in them. Like, you like that product, just let them do that product on your show. Yeah, so I think by having LA Knight lose the title for a while, then get the title back, have it for a wee bit, then lose it again to Fatu, I feel like it diminished LA Knight a bit. But the match itself was an absolute belter. Really enjoyed that match. And the fact that Fatu's walked away with a title, yes, please, more of that. Next match was Rey Fenix. It was supposed to be Rey Mysterio, but he's torn his groin. And they put Rey Fenix in it. And Corbin loves Rey Mysterio, but I think this was the better choice. I don't think we would have got. I've got nothing against Mysterio. The fact that Mysterio can still go. He's in his 50s and he can still go. He's really injury prone though. I don't think his body's holding up now, but I've got nothing against Rey Mysterio. Love him. I think he's brilliant, and I respect the fact that he can go as well as he can at the age and the way the shut up email every time, and the way his body's falling apart. But Rey Fenix is obviously Penta's brother, and yeah, Phoenix is something else. I used to watch him in Lucha Underground. Was my first exposure to him, and he blew me away in Lucha Underground. And then I was glad to see he got more of pushes in AEW. But the fact that this match was, I loved this match. I am all in on Americano Grande. The fact that he's named after a coffee, it might help. Chad Gable storyline with this mask, I'm loving it. I think it's brilliant. I love how they've handled it. It's funny. But and I know a lot of people don't like it or they're complaining about it a lot, but what I don't think is being said enough is the fact that Chad Gable was a brilliant wrestler to begin with. He was a brilliant character. He's a good dickhead. He's amazing in the ring, always has been. And now he's even more amazing because the man's branching out into lucha. He's not just putting the mask on, he is actually now performing lucha. And the moonsault senton was, for lack of a better expression, fucking insane. And power to Phoenix for taking that, because both of them could have freaking died off it. I don't think there's enough talk about that moonsault senton. The whip, it was perfect. There was no hesitation. Both of them pulled off amazing moves. I loved the story. I love the old school, the fact that Americano Grande is sticking the metal plate in the mask and cheating. It's so old school. And yeah, I loved that match. I thought it was really, really good. Moving on, we went to Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte for the Women's Championship. This was doo-doo. Doo-doo. This was doomed since January. So there's it's becoming more of a common term, but obviously when a heel gets heat, that's good. If a crowd boos a heel, that's good. If they don't like you to an extent, that's good. There's another thing called go away heat, which means that a crowd genuinely are not interested in you. They don't like the storyline. They don't like what you are doing. And it's called go away heat. And that's what Charlotte has. And I think it's damaging everything she touches right now. Charlotte has a bad reputation as of last how many years. And I think it's very, very clear that there are backstage issues with Charlotte. I think she does have a hell of an ego. And I was a huge Charlotte Flair fan. Again, NXT days, I loved Charlotte Flair in NXT. I loved when she was on the main roster. I loved the 4 Horsewomen of Wrestling. But Charlotte now, no. And I did mention this when I was talking. I think I did a video on the Rumble. Did I? No, I don't think I did. It was Elimination Chamber. But I have, when I watched the Rumble and Charlotte was in it, Charlotte's really skinny. Like, she's really skinny. She's lost a lot of her muscle mass. And every time I see her, I don't think she looks well. I know she's, her personal life, she's having a hard time. Another one of her marriages has ended. I don't know what else goes on in her personal life, but she doesn't look healthy. Like, really. And I like, again, a lot of the internet and everything do the horrible thing, and they rag on her plastic surgery in her face and that. I think there's more going on than that. And the fact that she's so skinny, her gear's hanging off her a lot of time. Her gear's not fitting. And I just kind of feel like, should you be performing? Are you in a good place for that? Nobody wanted this match, in my opinion. Nobody wanted this match. I like Tiffany Stratton. I think she is going to grow more and more. I think she's good in the ring now. I find her entertaining. A little bit too Barbie doll, but I mean, that's her character. That's her gimmick. It's just, I'm not into the gimmick fully, but I think she's really, really talented and good presence. But this match was doo-doo. Nobody wanted it. Charlotte winning the Rumble was a really bad booking decision. She just appeared back out of nowhere, that she was a surprise entrant, and she won it. Nobody wanted that. And that Women's Rumble was really good. I'm just gonna say, I know it would have been too much too soon, but I would have loved for Roxanne Perez to win that Rumble. That would have been the bigger surprise, because nobody expected the little NXT, literally, because she's short, the little NXT girl, to win the Rumble. I would have, and Roxanne Perez is amazingly talented for the age she's at, and she is a brilliant bitch heel. She's really good doing NXT as that bitchy heel. Her against Tiffany Stratton at the Mania would have torn her house down. A pair of them would have torn her house down. But this sucked. Their promos leading up to it sucked. The off the rails personal shots at each other sucked. Charlotte's attitude to Tiffy during those promos sucked. disrespectful. And the fact that Tiffany fired back with what she did, I can understand why. But I mean, it's not a good look. The funny thing here, again, going back, was Jade Cargill's entrance was the last kind of flashy one. LA Knight just came in a car. I don't think that's impressive. So what? You pulled up in a Lamborghini. I don't care. The Lamborghini didn't ride in the ramp. It just came up the side ramp, stopped, and out he comes. I just don't think that's entertaining at all. And then Charlotte's entrance, and this is only 2 matches after LA Knight came in with the car. Charlotte's entrance, she came in a car. It was the same thing. And I was like, all right, okay. That kind of sucks. Tiffany's entrance was cool. She came in a Barbie box, and they used 2 small Titan projector screen things, whatever. 2 ones on either side, so it made it look like it was a line of Barbies. That was cool. I like that. It was simple. But again, that's all it was. She just came out of the box. There was no like fanfare with it. And it was at this point I began to realize that there was a little bit of an issue with having this massive building. And the fact that they were coming out of touching the mic, coming out of a foyer, which was boxed in. There wasn't actually a lot of stage in front of it to do anything with it. You couldn't put pyro in front of it because there was people on the balcony above. You couldn't have massive lines of dancers, bands, all the like crazy stuff they do at Mania. They couldn't do any of that because there was no space. And then it was the ramp. And the ramp was really cool because it was obviously the massive LED flooring all the way down. But there was another problem I started to notice. The crowd were pushed really far back from the ramp. The wrestlers were like leaning over, tippy-toeing to try and even get finger touches. It was just really pulled back. And that's when Tiffany came in. I was like, we're not going to see anything overly bombastic on the stage because there's no space. There's nothing for them to do. So as cool as that was, the verticality of it, very quickly, you were like, that's all we're going to get is this thing lighting up. And I don't think that was good enough. I don't think that was up there. Where are we now? So yeah, the match was doo-doo. It was bad. They don't work well together. They clearly don't like each other. It was rough. Very rough. Tiffany genuinely by the end of it looked like she just didn't want to be there. The kickouts were getting weaker and weaker, and when it ended, there was no like massive celebration of I've just fought a war. She literally looked in her face. She was like, "Thank fuck that's over." Charlotte was okay in it. She sandbagged a lot. She didn't sell a lot. She fluffed a lot of the big moves near the end, and yeah, as I say, like Charlotte coming in and getting the Rumble win, nah, fans didn't like it. And I don't know what his name is that he's going by now, but I saw a quote by him, Baron Corbin, on a recent podcast, and he actually nailed it on the head. And he said the reason why Charlotte has such bad go-away heat is not just her attitude, not just her work, not just the backstage drama. It's what she's done with the injuries, and this last particular injury. So CM Punk gets injured. CM Punk's on television every week. CM Punk stays and does promos. CM Punk had a feud where he didn't actually have to touch the guy until he was healed up. A lot of ones that get injured stick around. They stay on television. They help in the back. They're still going to work. They're contributing to the younger ones backstage. They're helping backstage. They're giving ideas. They're helping train. They're guiding. They're passing knowledge down. Charlotte fucked off for 2 years, wasn't in the building, and never had anything to do with it, then came back and got everything. That's the problem. And I agree with that. He's right. Imagine the vibe with that backstage. It's like, well, you haven't contributed here. You haven't been here. Why are you taking spots? And it's the same with the fans. The fans will pick up on that going, well, you weren't here. You weren't doing anything. And now you come back and you get everything. So, yeah. Not good match. Didn't like it. And Tiffy's tooth was chipped. And there's a bit of a weird online internet debate about that. They're like, oh no, it's just blood in her tooth. Oh no, because it was fine later. It was chipped. It was shattered. It's clearly shattered. WWE have Is the right word orthodontist? Orthodontists? They have orthodontists backstage. It's a capped tooth. They just replace it instantly for the press conference. Um, no big mystery. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. They're gonna have that on hand. Um, Main event: Seth Rollins against Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Rollins' entrance was the first big feeling Mania entrance. The coming out with the flamethrower, the fact that they integrated the building, so he turned around and put the flamethrower to the building. The building looks like it caught fire and then collapses. That was fucking brilliant, and that unfortunately was the best use of that thing both nights because it fit perfectly with the whole thing. That was the best use of it. The other cool thing with the LED ramp was that they had hanging slabs that were LED screens as well, that were used in every entrance. They were really cool. But up until this point, I didn't realize that they could actually lower and move in the ceiling. So Reigns' entrance was really good. And I thought when he was coming out, he was just coming out to his music, and I thought, he's not getting anything. He's not getting much fanfare. I was like, oh, well, it's fine. It doesn't really need it because it's Roman Reigns. He could take his time to that ring, and he still carries that aura, the power, and it's entertaining. But then I started to realize that as he was walking down, there was pictures of his family bloodline. And I'm not going to lie, I actually welled up a little bit because it dawned on me that as he's walking to the ring, every generation is dropping behind him, and it's the vision of they paved the way for him to walk down the ramp, and that really hit with me. I don't know why it did. I actually did really well up with that, and it wasn't even just wrestling. I thought that's really cool, and a lot of them passed recently, like Alpha and his uncle and whatnot, and yeah, it was really, it hit hard. I thought that was a really cool entrance. Really good. And Punk came in to his theme that was played live. Oh man, I've forgotten their name. I know every. Is it City in Color? Could be wrong. City in Color? I think I'm wrong. But yeah, I'm usually not a fan of themes played live. They were amazing. They were spot on, top notch quality, legendary. I mean, they are like an old going band, so they know their shit, but it was awesome. The singer was loving life. The match itself, spot on. That was a fucking WrestleMania match. It was amazing. It was so good. It was so well paced. Told great stories, great spots, and I enjoyed every minute of it. The Paul Heyman double turn, excelente. I saw the Punk one coming. I didn't necessarily think he was going to turn on Reigns yet, but it was coming. But yeah, the fact that he low blowed Punk and was upset and didn't want to do it, and then when he low blowed Reigns, it was just piss and vinegar. The vitriol on his face, and I think it's so funny that he did the low blow, and then went like left and right to grind the forearm in, and I was like, oh, Paul, man, stop. Yeah, it was brilliant, and if you can find an old promo of Cody where Reigns, I think it was before WrestleMania last year, he said that you're gonna have no Jay, no Jimmy, you're gonna lose the bloodline, and then he turned around and the last one was, and you're gonna lose your wise man, and then you're gonna be Roman Reigns with nothing. And I was like, ooh, some long-term storytelling there, because everything happened in that order throughout the year. Yeah, I loved it. It was a brilliant Mania match. What an end to it. Top notch. Three guys that know each other inside and out. That sounds a bit weird, Dave. Know all their work, knew what each one was doing, and it was top notch. They gelled so well. Loved that match. But the only problem with that then was that match was so good, the rest of the night turned meh. And then you suddenly realized that really was meh for a night one of WrestleMania. Gunther and Jay was a good opener, but it wasn't WrestleMania level. War Raiders New Day was doo-doo and embarrassing with that costumes. Naomi versus Jade Cargill wasn't a Mania match. LA Knight versus Jake Fatu, that was a Mania mid-card match. That was good, right? Fenix versus Americano Grande. It was awesome, and it had really good spots, but they didn't have a long enough feud. There was nothing around that to have a Mania moment. It was up there with that senton splash and what they were doing. It was very impressive. It was they actually stole back more. I think that could have been quite meh, but it wasn't. But because there's no feud there, because there's no big story, there's no stakes other than the fact that Americano Grande is an affront to Lucha Libre. It wasn't Mania levels. Tiffany and Charlotte, doo-doo, because Charlotte, again, not a Mania match. So the only match to me on that card that had that WrestleMania hype vibe and delivered was the main, which on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 match card wasn't he good? Wasn't he good? Right. Moving on to night 2. And even Corbin, again, when I said about how that innocence of not having anything particularly, no judgment and no like, it should have been this, it should have been that. Even he said by the end that he was like, that really was a bit flat, Dad. And I was like, you're right, it was, which was disappointing. So I had high hopes for night 2. High hopes for night 2. Because when they did the whole thing, oh, tomorrow night, this is the card. And I'm like, oh, this one looks more promising. So night 2. Had the god-awful forced nap. Got stuck in. And I was like, well, we can do this. We can do this. We can stay awake till 12 till 4. We can do it. And I did. Night 2. Opener. Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's Championship. I'm a huge Io Sky fan. I love Io Sky. I think she was always very underrated and underappreciated, and I kind of like the fact that everyone's coming round now. I know a lot of folk weren't happy she won a title. I didn't expect her to win the title. I loved that booking because it surprised me. I loved although it was getting a bit repetitive, they really dragged that out over the course of a month. But I loved the promos leading up to it, how every time that Rhea and Bianca were getting at each other, they would push Io in the face and like, you sit down, little girl, you sit down, and Io would just lose her shit every time and batter them. They did it too many times, but I love the fact that Bianca and Ripley being the big bruiser, beefy bruisers, and little Io, who was holding the title, that's who they have to win it from. They didn't see her as a threat at all, and they kept face palming her, and then she'd just go full fucking psycho and slap them and her wee tantrums. That was brilliant. WrestleMania match. That was a WrestleMania match. It was awesome. Loved it, start to finish. And the finish itself with the moonsault crushing them, because Rhea was balled up in a pin. That looked like that sucked. It was awesome. That was an awesome opener. All three of them, great showing. And I'm going to be honest, I did not think I was walking out with that title. So in fact she retained it, yeah, I'm there. I love it. A lot of the fans wanted Rhea to have it. Let's be fair, Rhea doesn't need it. Rhea's the most popular women's wrestler for good reason. She's got a great look. She's got great fucking work. She is, personality-wise, Rhea Ripley has the X factor. Every time she makes her entrance, whether it's just a normal one, I watch it intently. The way she sings her theme tune when she comes out, she's like vibing. Like, you just cannot take your eyes off Rhea Ripley's personality, and great in the ring as well. I love the fact, and this is just for me, I'm obviously a DC fan. I love Batman. I've got a lot of Batman books. I've got a couple of spin-off books. The fact that a lot of people didn't catch on to this, Rhea Ripley was cosplaying as the Batman who laughs, hence the red lipstick. Yeah, I couldn't get over the Batman who laughs cosplay. I was like, that is fucking cool and really out there. Like, because I don't think the Batman who laughs is a very well-known character to the general public. But yeah, Mania match, loved it. Drew McIntyre versus Damien Priest. Damien Priest has really won me around since he won Money in the Bank. No, sorry, I knew he won Money in the Bank, and then last year's Mania is when he cashed it in. Is when I got back into wrestling, and I wasn't a huge fan of him. I thought, he's all right, but no, I love Damien Priest now, love him, and the fact the man's in his 40s still astounds me. He does, nah, not having it, not having it. Drew McIntyre, I'm all, like I know I'm gonna get absolutely flamed for this. I know because I know people obviously in the Scottish wrestling scene. I'm not allowed to say the I word anymore. So, my friends and fellow peers who batter each other in assisted beatings, consensual assisted beatings. I'm not a huge Drew McIntyre fan. I'm not. I don't think I've nothing against his ability. He's amazing in the ring. What he's gone from to what he is now. I'm just not a fan. I'm not. I can't get behind him. And I loved his match with Punk in the Hell in a Cell. That was one of the most vicious matches I've seen in a long time. And I just can't get behind him. So I was a little bit flat going into this match because of that. Nah, turned it around. I loved it. I loved it. It was a brilliant street fight. It wasn't a stupid street fight. They didn't have overly dangerous spots. It was clean. It was safe. It was entertaining. It told a great story. Only thing that immediately put me off again was we had another sponsored costume match. Drew came in with it was more in his style. It was still like the Dragon Slayer, Scottish warrior stuff, but it had the Doom Slayer integrated into it. But the thing that was icky was they had a Doom Slayer statue just sitting in the middle of the ramp, and Drew awkwardly put his foot on it. Went to the ring, and then got his palder stuck on the rope, which the camera cuts away from quickly. That's fine. Things like that happen. But then when he takes the thing off, Drew clearly is like, get this fucking thing off me. I don't think he wanted to wear it. It's just a little bit icky when performers are being forced into sponsorship stuff. Like, if you want to put it on the Titantron, if it's you want to put the logo that's sponsoring it on the barricades, go for it. But don't clark your performers in it if they're not wanting to do it. Because I'll go back. The War Raiders like fucking stupid. Drew's looked cool, but the statue in the middle was just completely random. And it just didn't make any sense with it. Damien Priest had Kerry King from Slayer play one of the worst sounding guitar solos ever, and I like Slayer. I've got nothing against Kerry King, he's a legend, but that did not sound good. It was just scratchy and weird. But when the song started, it was brilliant. And you can see Damien Priest loved the fact that I think like Kerry King's like one of his favourite artists or an idol or something. I think Damien Priest is hosting something to do with a Slayer concert coming up as well. So it's obviously really important to him, and you could just see him rocking and vibing with it. He looked like a little kid when he turned into the ring and looked back at Kerry King and was like, I was like, that's teenage Damien Priest coming out there. He's loving it. But the match was brilliant. Loved it. It was a Mania level match. So night 2, the first 2 matches of it is Mania level. And I was like, I'm in. This is great. The only problem was the entrances were a bit flat. Io sucked. Io got nothing. Like, there was nothing fancy. And I think that is the most reserved I have seen her come out. I love when she comes out and she's getting like the weird movements, like she's crazy, high energy. She didn't have that. So I don't know, is that a change because she's more face now, or was she absolutely shitting herself going into this match? I think she was just nervous. Belair had, I'm assuming that was friends and family or people she knew. I knew her stepdaughter was on stage, but the older ladies doing jump rope must have been people she knew. I think that's cool she had the connection, but it wasn't impressive looking. I didn't grasp that. It wasn't bombastic. And Ripley looked cool, but didn't get anything else around it. And again, because I think the staging was limiting everything, there was nothing you could do other than, oh, look, big. If you're in that arena, that must have been amazing to see the whole building light up with names and pictures and, the pyro on top of the building. But see, when you're watching it at home on television, it was lacking. It was beginning to get boring without having bigger entrances. And I know that's a weird thing to expect because you're there to watch the wrestling, but it's WrestleMania. I want that stuff. I love that stuff. I thought WrestleMania 40 had really, really interesting entrances. They did a lot of special entrances, and it made you excited for the next match to be like, oh, what are they going to do? Even if I wasn't invested in the match, it was like, oh, I'm going to really look forward to seeing this entrance. And then when I quickly realized with this one that we're not getting that, when I wasn't interested in a match, I was going in flat. But yeah, that street fight was brilliant. The Intercontinental Four-Way. Penta versus Dirty Dom, Mysterio, Finn Balor, and Braun Breaker. Awesome match. Awesome. I like Dom. I love seeing how much he's grown into this dickhead character, and his work's getting far better. I like Penta. I've always liked Penta, though. I know he's quite polarizing. Some people just can't take to his character. I like him. And I like that he's slowly now getting used to the WWE style. He doesn't look as awkward when he's wrestling. Again, when I'm on Penta, because of that stage, and I thought Penta's going to get an amazing entrance because his normal entrance is awesome. He gets the laser boom tube. He gets 4 rows of pyro behind him, 4 boxes of pyro, and then he gets these spinner, sparkly fire things, and that's his normal entrance. This, to me, was less than his normal entrance. He didn't get a big boom tube. He got minimal fire on top of the building, not on the stage, and then the only cool thing he had was that a ninja star followed him under his feet as he went down the ramp, and it was still flatter than what he has on a normal night. So, yeah, that staging was really working against him. It was a brilliant match. Brilliant match. I mean, all 4 of them are friggin' amazing. Braun Breaker's a freak. Absolute freak. The way he jumps, the way he runs, the way he moves, it just... If there's, like, you can't not like Braun Breaker. You can't. On his physical ability alone, he's a specimen. And he's going to be terrifying when he gets that level where they're going to put him in the main event title scene. He's going to be something else. Finn Balor, I still love Finn Balor. I think Finn Balor's better now than he has been for years. I think he's found his ground with this inner turmoil in the Judgment Day. Corbin is desperate for him to bring the Demon back. Corbin wasn't watching wrestling when he did the Demon, but I showed him some match clips and things, and he's like, I want the Demon. It would be nice to get the Demon, but heel Finn Balor with the Demon, I'm not sure would work. And they keep the Demon alive, I've noticed, because when they do the Judgment Day promos backstage, every so often the Finn Balor case with the Demon face is there. And it's almost like it's there just to keep everyone remembering it. Yeah, I enjoyed the match. It was great. It was good. It was... I didn't think Dom was going to win it, so I'm happy he did. My only issue with this Intercontinental match is that it had the exact same finish as the women's title match at the start. Somebody was being pinned and somebody flew off the top rope, crushed them, and won. That was weird to me. Because that's like in wrestling, you organize your card and there's communication to make sure that there's no overlapping spots. And the fact that this happened in WWE on WrestleMania is strange to me. And it was only 2 matches away. No, there was only 1 match between that finish happening. So it was only dampening it for me. I love the fact as well that Finn was like, I don't know if this was a storyline thing or it was just a moment that was caught that was genuine. So Finn, obviously, Dom backstabbed Finn. And because it's a Judgment Day, they've been having this like, oh, you're not strong enough, you're not tough enough, you're not good enough. Finn looked shocked and pissed off to begin with, and then the camera looked back, and at one point Finn Balor's like, yeah, Dom, yeah, and then it went away and came back, and it went back to Finn being all disappointed. So I don't know, was that a moment where it was like character and story wise, where Finn Balor's like, "Oh yeah, bastard, you took that from me, but I'm proud of you. Yeah, I'm proud of you. You brought it. You brought it." Or was it literally Finn Balor slipping on camera and just being so happy for Dom to have that moment? So both ways is really cool. But yeah, that was an awesome match. The next one was Randy Orton against a mystery opponent. I wanted Nick Aldis. Everybody wanted Nick Aldis. It should have been Nick Aldis. They've had history in the past. He's RKO'd him, I think, twice now. And Aldis is an amazing wrestler, and he can go. I knew it was going to be Joe Hendry. And again, I'm probably gonna get heated for this because I'm Scottish and fellow Scotsman. I don't like Joe Hendry. I don't. I do not like Joe Hendry. Funny thing is, I like Joe Hendry's work when he works a match. The matches he had in NXT and the matches he has in TNA, really good. I think he's solid. I do not like how long this malarkey's gone on with the song. I do not like the turn with the goofy fucking face into the camera. It's just not for me. I get why it's entertaining, and I did enjoy. Do you know what? I enjoyed it 2 years ago to a year ago. I'm sick of it now. I don't dig how it's. I think it's beginning to diminish how good a wrestler he is in the ring, unless you're watching TNA religiously. Because what is the WWE audience getting from this? The entrance. And how this played out. So everyone's telling me, and again, everyone's got their own opinion, and their opinion's not wrong. It's not invalid in any way. But when I've been speaking to people about it, they're like, "Oh, the spot was brilliant. It was great." And I agree. It was. It was brilliant. It was great. It was entertaining, and I loved it. And they're saying it was good for Joe Hendry, and that, oh, it's great that Joe Hendry got a WrestleMania moment. It's great that Joe Hendry has been exposed to the wider. No, that's not what I saw. That is not what I saw. What I saw was a TNA World Heavyweight Champion get whopped in under 3 minutes and then double RKO'd like an idiot at the end, which entertaining wise, excellently. Loved it. And I like the fact that maybe Mr. Henry doesn't take himself too seriously. But to me, that whole thing, because that was not the plan all the time. There was talk about having Jeff Hardy do it as well. The whole thing to me was almost higher ups in WWE giving him this opportunity. And Henry's going to say, yeah. I mean, who's not going to say, yes, I will go in and get RKO'd by Randy Orton on WrestleMania? But it was almost like, to me, it was like, you are nothing but your entrance. And we're going to flatten you. I mean, they didn't exactly give him a big showing, did they? It was the entrance, whopped, and then Randy Orton taking the piss at your entrance. And I kind of feel that Hendry probably would end up in WWE eventually anyway on his own merits. And I don't know for people that know, but there was this when it was Clash at the Castle in Glasgow. Joe Hendry paid like £1,000 to £2,000 to put his face on a billboard next to the arena to get WWE's attention. Now, on the one hand, that's cool. Get your hustle, do that. I don't think in the long run that I mean, it got you noticed, yes. So you got your foot in the door. Grand, excellent. But there's just something about that that's like, you've got the talent, you've got the ability. Let that speak for itself. Don't grasp for attention. And that's just my feelings on Joe Hendry. I think, and it's weird because it sounds like I'm shitting on him, and I'm not. I like his work. I think the song was funny. I think the entrance was funny, but I'm done with it now. It's really boring me now, and it's annoying. But again, that's just my opinion. And I enjoyed the segment. I thought it was good. I love it when Randy Orton just has fun. I love I don't give a fuck Orton. Next match was AJ Styles against Paul Logan. Paul Logan should be in jail. Paul Logan is a piece of shit human being. He is. And I don't care how good his ability is in the ring. I don't care how impressive stuff is. That is not a character. This big money, I'm the guy. It's not a character. It's him. He's a fucking dickhead. And he should be in jail for what he's done to people. He has ruined people's lives with crypto scams. He will step on anyone to get where he is. And he is the epitome of, I'm going to sound like a boomer, but he is the epitome of what was wrong. He's not a role model. He's not an idol. And kids are like, I want to be like Logan Paul when I'm older because Logan Paul's minted and all he does is cool stuff on YouTube. And now he's a wrestler for WWE. He's a fucking scumbag. And yeah, don't like him. I hate the fact that he was working AJ. And I hate the fact that I have to say this. If I'm going to go through every match, I can't be a hypocrite and say that it wasn't a good match because it was. And Logan Paul is talented. And Logan Paul is naturally gifted for wrestling and can do great spots. But he's fucking Logan Paul. The drone entrance was cool. I like that. But again, fucking Logan Paul. And I don't think AJ should have lost. AJ's only got... Well, he's actually admitted that he's going to stop when he's not wrestling in his 50s. He's 48 now. So he's only got about another year to a year and a half left. 2 at most. And I like the fact AJ's putting younger guys over, but not Logan Paul, man. Not Logan Paul. Then came out Stone Cold. Stone Cold came out on an ATV. Everybody saw what happened on the ATV. And when he went in the first lap, I was like, oh, damn. Slow down, Steve, because you're getting a little bit crazy on that. I mean, even Taker, when he does his bike years ago, it was always nice and slow, nice and easy. And no, Austin was riding that thing like a bat out of hell. And he came around on the second one, and yeah, he fucking clipped the barricade. 2 seconds, we've got a visitor. Come on in. Watch the lights. Don't knock the lights. Oh, hello. Yes. Hello. Oh, come on in. You got coming up again. Oh, hello. Yes. Oh, no, not again. No, we did this last time. Stop it. No, bad. No licky. There we go. Yes. Hello. You're on camera again. Oh no, not the baby. We're doing the baby. Why are you doing the baby? You're making a fool of yourself. This is going out on YouTube, man. Why are you doing the baby? Stop the baby. Oh my goodness. Right. You happy now? You're not licking my face. That's not happening. Right. Then you go. There you go. Where's your cushion? Get you seated. No. Come here. That's it. There you go. On your cushion. Yeah. Back in the room. So, Austin clipped the barricade, and obviously lawsuits abound. So, if you watch that back, and if you've got half a brain, you'll realise he didn't hit anyone. He didn't clip anyone. No, we're not having the squeaky toy right now. He didn't hit anyone, and the barricade didn't hit that lassie. Her hand is over the top of the barricade. He hit into it. She's fine. Then realizes, oh, I can make money here, and instantly drops. Do not be that person in life. Don't be that person. I noticed Nick Khan was in like a shot. One of the co-owners of WWE. He was in there, so she's probably getting free tickets, VIP tickets to WrestleMania next year. I don't think she should be attempting any lawsuits because it's very clear on camera that it bumped the railing, then she dropped. I mean, I've had every deliveries quicker than her dropping to that floor. And I really think it was quite scummy that she did that, because when Austin went back to apologise, she's looking at him and going, are you for real? Like, she had an attitude on her. Now, if you were any wrestling fan that was enjoying that night, yeah, right, you might have got a wee spooked, but then you realise you're safe and you're fine, and it would be, oh my God, Stone Cold almost ran me over on ATV, and you'd be telling your grandkids this story, right? Don't be that person. I do feel like it was really wasted just having Austin come out and do the announcement of the who was there promo. It sucked. I do think it was funny that he was attempting to count everyone. That was funny. But other than that, it wasn't. I think it would have been a bit more flat if he didn't have the controversy of hitting the barricade. But yeah. And then we went to the main event. I was so hyped for this. And I wish that I could sit here and say that it was everything that I wanted. It was crap. I'm sorry. It was crap. It was the friggin' worst WrestleMania main event in a long time. The match was slow and plodding. I didn't mind that. I didn't mind Cena's black and white entrance. I quite like that. I like the angle that Cena's like, I'm not performing for you. I love the fact that when it came to the whole, usually in a title match, they have to stand in front and the camera looks at you to give that big fight feel. And Cena refused to look at the camera and turn around. He even looked at a ref and was like, I don't want to do it. And she's like, you have to do it. All that was good. Cody's entrance. Did we need the bikes that couldn't do anything? The bikes that couldn't even like launch off the ramp? The bikes that only just went and then stood there? Were the bikes necessary? No, I don't think they were necessary. Corbin, when he was younger, his first kind of superhero he was really into was Iron Man. So the fact that Cody's mask opened up with the Iron Man thing, he lost it. He lost it. He's a big Cody fan. The match was just meh. It was okay. It was like a Raw match, just with a little bit of mania sprinkling because we were kicking out finishers left, right, and center. And then it happened. It happened. Travis Scott, who I haven't got a fucking clue who he is, other than the fact that he's supposed to be a musician. I think his music sucks. I think he's embarrassing. I think he looks like a rapper stereotype. The fact he keeps carrying a fucking replica title with a sticker on it is embarrassing. And I thought exactly the same thing that everyone else thought. I thought, if Travis Scott's here, he's going to come out, and then the man himself will come out. The man that kicked off this whole storyline. The man that puts asses in seats. The man that looked at John Cena and told him to turn heel. The man that asked Cody to be my champion. He wouldn't do it, so obviously John Cena is going to be his champion. The fucking Rock. Travis Scott is at a top of stage, and that fucking song is playing. That song ran for 2 nights straight and was in the gap of every promo, in the gap between every match, and it repeatedly goes, Fiend, 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 Fiend. Fuck off! It was so annoying. Whoever thought that was a good idea? Right? The song A sucks, and the song on repeat is a nightmare. It was so annoying. And it took me a long time to realize that. I thought that was like the Raw theme that was playing every so often. Took me so long to realize that was the official theme of bloody WrestleMania. And it sucked and it was annoying. I have nightmares of Fiend, 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 Fiend. So he's at the top of the ramp. And then he gets to the middle of the ramp and he's still sauntering and he's taking his time and he's tapping the title. There's a match still going on, right? And both of them are now standing there. Well, Cody's lying dead, but they're both in there for fucking ages doing nothing while this idiot walks down the ramp. And he gets halfway, and that's when I realised Rock's not coming. Rock's not going to be involved in this at all. And then it came out of my mouth. It slipped out of my mouth. I roared at my television and I went, what the fuck is this noodle going to do? He's not physically imposing. He's not threatening. He looks like an idiot with his little toy title. And he got up in the apron and he got involved. He got crossroads. Cena cheated and 1, 2, 3. What a wet fart of a finish. It was awful. And it was the big main event. It was the big thing. It was Cena's last WrestleMania. That is, by the way, let's just take a moment and remember this, right? No matter what your opinion is on how good the match is, how bad the match is, that finish was John Cena's last WrestleMania ever. And that's what happened. It was shit. And it put a massive dampener on it for me. It got worse as well, because it got infinitely worse Because The Rock then put a video out 2 days later because of the backlash, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I don't think it should have been. No, The Rock didn't need to be there because it's about Cody and John. It should be focused on them. Then why the fuck was Travis Scott there? But it was about them. Why is he there?" And then he admits that on the night of Elimination Chamber, he did this whole storyline, this angle, went backstage and was like, "Yeah, the final boss stuff is done. We're not doing it anymore." What? You just kicked off a storyline, and I understand that I think the full implication of what happened was the guy that runs TKO didn't like Elimination Chamber numbers. They were struggling, so then they announced The Rock was going to be there. So he kind of forcibly said, "We need to get The Rock in it," and The Rock was never, ever intended to be anywhere near wrestling again as now. But the fact that you kicked off a storyline, at least bloody finish it, right? Because I know I'm not the only wrestling fan out there, right? I'm going to be the armchair booker here, and I know a lot of people thought this. You could have done the exact same match. It was meh. You could have done the whole thing exactly as it was. That fucking annoying Fiend music starts, fair enough, right? And even if you wanted that idiot Travis Scott there, fine, he comes out. Then the Rock's music hits. Everybody loses their shit. Rock struts into the ring, gets involved. Fucking Rock bottoms Cody, whatever. Ref's still knocked out at this point, obviously. Rock bottoms Cody. Fucking turns the scene. They set something up. They're going to fucking set about him. They're going to repeat with the whipping of the belt. They're going to have Travis Scott be like, "Yeah, I'm going to burst your other fucking eardrum, mate." Then the man was in the building. He was in the building. Used the son of a bitch. The fucking glass breaks. Stone Cold comes in. Everyone goes mad, apart from the woman that apparently died at the barricade. Stone Cold runs in. Fucking trade a couple of blows. Nothing amazing. Just a couple of blows in the Rock. Fucking duck the line. Boom. One stunner. Rock oversells it. Out of the ring. They brawl up the ramp. You can still have the exact same shitty finish that they did. Cena wins, takes the title. Boo boo. You still would have had a WrestleMania moment. That alone would have elevated a meh match to something that fans would have been talking about and would have been hyped about. If you have Stone Cold Steve Austin just touch a Rock, it brings back years and years of WrestleMania nostalgia, right? You didn't need anything like last year. Like, fair enough, we had the random Undertaker thing in it, and I know it wouldn't have been an exact carbon copy of that. It would have actually just been a little bit of nostalgia and hyped that match up and made it more special, and they didn't, and it was shit. So yeah, and by the end of it, Corbin turned around, is the biggest Cody Rhodes fan ever, and was fully invested in the John Cena thing, and he was so deflated by the end of it. And again, I go back to my 8-year-old son is just taking in the product for what it is. He doesn't have opinions. He doesn't have years of wrestling. He doesn't have the do's and don'ts. None of that. And it was just, sorry, my dog's burying himself in a sheet. He just was deflated. He was like, "Wow, that's not what I wanted." I was like, "Yeah, you're not wrong, man. You're not wrong." So, and actually, I've just realized I've left a match out. There was another match which I'll quickly cover. It was a tag team match. It was Lyra Valkyria. I can never say her name right. I think I did there. And it was supposed to be Bayley against Liv and Raquel. The match was okay. There was nothing wrong with it. Becky Lynch was a surprise entrant. I knew it was going to be Becky Lynch. I wasn't overly thrilled. It wasn't bad. I didn't hate it. I like Raquel and Liv. By the way, if you get a chance, check out. Oh God, there's another name I'm going to butcher. Chris Van Vliet. His podcast with a lot of the WWE ones just now is brilliant. The one with Raquel totally changed my opinion on Raquel. Like, I didn't hate Raquel Rodriguez. Didn't have any issues with her, but seeing how cool she is and bubbly and what kind of person she is, you just immediately gravitate and like, she's actually pretty cool. I do like her. The match was fine. My issue is Becky did a Charlotte. Becky did a Hogan. Much Seth would hate hearing that. My issue is I like Bayley, and I don't understand why Bayley is just constantly treated like shit in WWE. I don't know what she's like backstage. I don't know if she's got any issues. Like, all that aside, all I can see is that Bayley is forever pushed down. And since January, she has worked her fucking ass off, because not only did Bayley have programs on Raw and SmackDown, she was on NXT and she was working PLEs. Bayley at one point this year was doing, I think, SmackDown, got on a plane, flew to NXT, did the NXT match straight away. Who else is doing that? And she's been brilliant. She's been working with Roxanne Perez. She's putting other people over. She's getting massive traction. She's a great fucking worker. And yeah, she was due to be in the tag match. And it was literally last minute. Yeah, we're going to do a batter angle, take you off WrestleMania, because Becky wants to come in. So yeah, we're going to do that. And I just think that's really shitty. And then I got even more pissed off because Raw the next night, they fucking took the titles off Becky and Lyra and had Becky batter Lyra and turn heel. So it was for nothing. For nothing. Unless something comes out where Bayley works to get to Becky as a penance for this. That was another thing that just flattened WrestleMania for me. It wasn't great. There was a lot of matches I enjoyed in it, but as far as WrestleManias go, it was not great. It was disappointing. And with some of these choices, man, some of these choices in the booking, going from how I was like, yeah, I love WrestleMania 40, and I've loved the entire year, but some of these choices are very icky, corporate-y, politic-y style, and I don't like that. I really don't like that. I'm really hoping this Netflix era is not going to go down the path I think it's going. So yeah, that's been the WrestleMania review and my longest vlog to date at 1 hour and 16. Wow. And I said I wouldn't prattle on too much, but I have. So yeah, let me know what you thought about WrestleMania. Let me know what you thought. Fire me some comments, fire me some emails. Socials are official LetsTalkAboutMeh at gmail.com. Instagram is my main social media source. It's Let's Talk About Meh on Instagram. Let's Talk About Meh 1. See, I have so many I get confused. Let's Talk About Meh 1. And I'm on TikTok as well, which is Let's Talk About Meh 6. I have a Facebook page as well, which is pretty much dead. I just share the Instagram stuff on it. But yeah, if you want to get in touch, those are the socials. Let me know what you thought about WrestleMania. Let me know if you watched it and what your opinions were on the poopy main event. So yeah. Peace.